A mother of 8 was shot and killed last week in North Charleston. Our Conley Grayson joins us now. And Conley, you talked with Maya Simmons' grandmother today, and she really misses her, doesn't she?
Jennifer told me losing her first granddaughter has been hard. Maya Jennifer was named after her, and they were very close.
She put a post up the night before she went out on Snap, and it said, "Time is short." You know, I think we all should take a lot more pictures and stuff and memories and stuff, because you just don't never know. And just look, hours later, she was killed.
Time is short. I think we all should take a lot more pictures and stuff and memories, because you just never know. These were the last words Maya Jennifer Simmons shared on Snapchat just hours before her life was violently cut short. What began as a night of celebration, her 30th birthday and engagement, ended in tragedy outside a North Charleston restaurant on July 28, 2023. The Bloom Room on Dorchester Road was filled with laughter and joy that evening. Friends and family gathered to celebrate MJ, as she was affectionately known. Her radiant smile lit up the room as her boyfriend of several years, Tyrone Jones, got down on one knee and proposed. The moment was perfect, captured in photos and videos shared across social media platforms. Maya, a devoted mother of 8, was finally getting her happily ever after. But someone else was watching those posts. Someone whose rage was building with each congratulatory comment. Someone who couldn't stand seeing Tyrone with another woman. As the celebration continued inside, Keisha Birch, Tyrone's ex-girlfriend, was making her way to the restaurant, a loaded gun in her possession. The social media posts that documented Maya's happiest moments had inadvertently created a deadly countdown. When Maya and her friends exited the restaurant shortly before 3 a.m., they had no idea that Keisha was waiting in the parking lot. What should have been a night of beautiful memories quickly transformed into a violent confrontation. Words were exchanged, tensions escalated, and in a moment of unchecked fury, Keisha pulled out her weapon. Multiple gunshots echoed through the night air. Maya collapsed to the pavement, blood staining her birthday outfit. Emergency services rushed her to the hospital, but at 2:57 a.m., Maya Jennifer Simmons was pronounced dead. Her life ended just hours after celebrating another year of it. The contrast couldn't be more stark. A woman who had just posted about cherishing memories because you just never know had her own life story cut short by someone who couldn't let go of the past. Here at Crime Scene Exposed, we dive deep into the most infamous crimes, baffling disappearances, disturbing confessions, and twisted criminal minds from around the world. If this story already has you gripped, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more detailed investigations and compelling storytelling. As we explore Maya's story, we'll examine not just the tragic events of that night, but the warning signs that preceded it, the devastating impact on her 8 children left behind, and the crucial lessons we can all learn about recognizing dangerous jealousy before it turns deadly. What drives someone to such an extreme act of violence? How does a birthday celebration transform into a murder scene? And what happens to 8 children when their mother is suddenly taken from them? The story of Maya Jennifer Simmons is not just about a crime. It's about love, jealousy, motherhood, and the fragility of life. It's about how quickly everything can change and how social media can sometimes become an unexpected catalyst for tragedy. Stay with us as we uncover the full story of a birthday proposal that ended in tears and the aftermath that continues to affect a family and community today. Maya Jennifer Simmons was more than just a victim of a senseless crime. Born on June 15, 1993, in Charleston, South Carolina, she was a vibrant soul whose 30 years of life were defined by love, resilience, and unwavering devotion to family. Named after her beloved grandmother, Jennifer Ferguson, Maya grew up in a close-knit family environment that shaped her values and outlook on life. She was one of 8 siblings, learning early on the importance of connection and support. Those who knew her best described Maya as someone who could transform any room with her presence. Her smile was infectious, her laughter memorable. The color green was her signature, often reflected in her elegant style choices. Maya carried herself with a natural grace that friends and family admired. Her creative spirit manifested in multiple ways. She loved singing, dancing, and cooking, talents she developed from childhood and later shared with her own children. Faith was the cornerstone of Maya's life. She attended church regularly, finding strength and purpose in her spiritual beliefs. This foundation would prove crucial during life's challenges, particularly when she experienced one of her greatest heartbreaks, the loss of one of her twins. Through this profound grief, Maya's faith only deepened, giving her the strength to continue nurturing her surviving children with even more love and dedication. By age 30, Maya was the proud mother of 8 children, ranging from 2 to 14 years old. Despite the obvious challenges of raising such a large family, she approached motherhood with remarkable dedication. Her children were her world, and she worked tirelessly to provide them with stability, love, and valuable life lessons. She often spoke to them about heaven, explaining that loved ones who pass on are watched over, a teaching that would later provide her children with some comfort in processing their own devastating loss. Friends described MJ as the heartbeat of any gathering. Her loyalty was unwavering. If you were in Maya's circle, you had an advocate for life. She was the friend who remembered birthdays, showed up during difficult times, and celebrated your victories as if they were her own. Maya's relationship with Tyrone Jones had its complexities, but by July 2023, they had reached a point of commitment and future planning. As the father of her youngest child, Tyrone was already part of the family fabric. Their engagement represented not just romantic love, but the solidification of their family unit. What made Maya extraordinary wasn't grand achievements or public recognition. It was her everyday commitment to living authentically and loving deeply. She taught her children by example, showing them how to navigate life's challenges with grace and faith. Her grandmother Jennifer recalls how Maya would often say, "God doesn't make mistakes," a philosophy that guided her through life's ups and downs. On social media, Maya shared glimpses of her life, family celebrations, quiet moments with her children, and reflections on faith. Her posts revealed a woman who found joy in simple pleasures and meaning in family connections. What she couldn't have known was how her final celebratory posts would set in motion the events leading to her death. In the weeks before her birthday, Maya had been excitedly planning both her celebration and her future with Tyrone. She had dreams of creating a stable home for her children, continuing her education, and strengthening her family bonds. Those who saw her in those final days recall her happiness and optimism about the future, a future that was tragically stolen from her on what should have been one of the happiest nights of her life. Maya Jennifer Simmons, daughter, mother, fiancée, friend, left behind a legacy of love that continues to resonate with all who knew her. Her story reminds us that behind every crime statistic is a full, rich life, a tapestry of relationships, dreams, and potential cut short by violence. July 28, 2023, marked a double milestone for Maya Simmons, her 30th birthday, and her engagement to Tyrone Jones. The venue chosen for this special occasion was the Bloom Room, a popular restaurant on Dorchester Road in North Charleston. The evening began with Maya surrounded by friends and family. She was radiant in her birthday outfit, her excitement visible to everyone present. Around 10 p.m. came the highlight of the evening. Tyrone Jones proposed to Maya in front of their assembled guests. Her enthusiastic acceptance was met with cheers and congratulations from everyone present. As is common in today's digital age, the celebration was extensively documented on social media. Photos of the birthday cake, videos of the proposal, and images of Maya showing off her engagement ring appeared on Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat throughout the evening. Maya herself posted a reflective message on Snapchat. "Time is short. I think we all should take a lot more pictures and stuff and memories because you just never know." These social media posts would prove fateful. Kaisha Birch, who had previously been in a relationship with Tyrone Jones, discovered the celebration through these online updates. According to police reports, seeing Tyrone propose to Maya triggered intense jealousy and anger in Birch. The celebration at the Bloom Room continued into the early morning hours of July 29th. By approximately 2:30 a.m., the party was winding down. Maya, Tyrone, and their remaining guests began to leave the restaurant and head to the parking lot. Unknown to them, Kaisha Birch had learned about the location of the celebration through social media and had driven to the Bloom Room. Witnesses later testified that Birch had been waiting in her car in the parking lot for some time before Maya and Tyrone emerged from the restaurant. The first confrontation began when Birch approached Maya and Tyrone in the parking lot. According to witness statements, Birch initially called out to the couple, demanding to speak with Tyrone. Tyrone recognized Birch immediately and attempted to defuse the situation. "Kaisha, this isn't the place," Tyrone reportedly said. "You need to go home." Birch ignored his request and began questioning him about the engagement, becoming increasingly agitated. She directed accusations at both Tyrone and Maya, focusing particularly on their relationship timeline. Friends of both Maya and Tyrone attempted to intervene, suggesting they all leave and handle the situation another time. Maya, who had never met Birch before, remained mostly quiet during this initial exchange, though witnesses recall her asking Tyrone, "Who is this?" when the confrontation began. This first confrontation lasted approximately 5 minutes, with tensions escalating despite attempts by multiple people to calm the situation. Eventually, Birch appeared to back down and returned to her vehicle. Maya, Tyrone, and their friends believed the confrontation was over and continued toward their cars. However, the situation took a deadly turn when Birch emerged from her vehicle again, this time with a gun. This second confrontation happened quickly. Birch approached Maya and Tyrone again, this time brandishing the weapon. "Kaisha, put that down!" Tyrone shouted when he saw the gun, according to multiple witnesses. Maya's friends later reported that Tyrone attempted to step between Maya and Birch, but everything happened too rapidly for effective intervention. Birch raised the gun and fired multiple shots directly at Maya, striking her in the chest several times. As Maya collapsed to the pavement, chaos erupted in the parking lot. Tyrone rushed to Maya's side, while friends called 911. Birch immediately fled the scene in her vehicle. Emergency responders arrived quickly and transported Maya to the nearest hospital. Despite medical intervention, Maya Jennifer Simmons was pronounced dead at 2:57 a.m. Tyrone, still in his celebration clothes, remained at the hospital in shock. He provided his initial statement to police officers there, identifying Kaisha Birch as the shooter and explaining their previous relationship. The North Charleston Police Department issued an immediate alert for Birch, who was apprehended within hours of the shooting. The gun used in the crime was recovered from her residence, and she was charged with manslaughter. What had begun as a night of celebration, a birthday, and an engagement ended in tragedy. The social media posts that had shared Maya and Tyrone's joy with friends and family had inadvertently set in motion a chain of events that would end with Maya's death and 8 children left without their mother. Kaisha Birch's name would forever be linked to a moment of violence that destroyed a family and ended a life full of promise. But who was she before becoming the perpetrator in this tragic case? Prior to the events of July 28, 2023, Birch had been in a relationship with Tyrone Jones, the man who would later propose to Maya Simmons. Their relationship had ended months before the shooting, though the exact timeline and circumstances of their breakup remain somewhat unclear in public records. What is evident, however, is that Birch had not fully accepted the end of their relationship. Friends of Jones later told investigators that Birch had occasionally reached out to him after their breakup, suggesting she still harbored feelings for him. There were no reports of threatening behavior before the night of the shooting, making her violent actions all the more shocking to those who knew her. Birch, who held a concealed carry permit, had no prior criminal record. She was legally allowed to own and carry the firearm she used to kill Maya Simmons, a fact that would later spark discussions about gun access and domestic violence prevention. The psychological dynamics at play in this case represent a textbook example of romantic jealousy escalating to violence. Experts who reviewed the case noted that Birch's actions displayed classic signs of possessive attachment, the inability to accept a former partner moving on with someone new. The public nature of the engagement, broadcast across social media platforms, likely intensified these feelings, creating what psychologists call social comparison that fueled her rage. On the night of July 28th, Birch discovered Maya and Tyrone's celebration through social media. Multiple posts showing the proposal, the engagement ring, and the celebration appeared on platforms where Birch could see them. According to the investigation, Birch spent hours monitoring these posts before making the fateful decision to drive to the Bloom Room restaurant. Cell phone records would later confirm that Birch had been in the vicinity of the restaurant for approximately 45 minutes before the confrontation, suggesting a period of surveillance or deliberation before she approached the couple. This waiting period indicates premeditation rather than a purely impulsive act. After shooting Maya multiple times in the chest, Birch immediately fled the scene in her vehicle. Police reports indicate she drove directly to her residence, where she remained until police arrived to arrest her several hours later. The murder weapon was found in her home, and ballistic tests would later confirm it was the gun used to kill Maya Simmons. The North Charleston Police Department responded to multiple 911 calls from the Bloom Room parking lot at approximately 2:40 a.m. on July 29, 2023. Officers arrived within minutes to find Maya Simmons critically wounded from multiple gunshot wounds to the chest. While paramedics rushed her to the hospital, officers secured the crime scene and began collecting witness statements. Despite emergency medical efforts, Maya Jennifer Simmons was pronounced dead at 2:57 a.m. Minutes later, a phone rang in the home of Jennifer Ferguson, Maya's grandmother. The middle of the night call changed everything for the Ferguson and Simmons families. As Jennifer received this devastating news, the investigation at the crime scene was moving quickly. Over a dozen witnesses had observed the confrontation and shooting, providing consistent accounts that identified Keisha Birch as the shooter. Tyrone Jones, still in shock from watching his fiancée being shot, provided officers with Birch's full name, address, and relationship history. By 6 a.m., police had obtained a warrant for Birch's arrest and dispatched officers to her residence. She was taken into custody without incident at approximately 8:30 a.m., less than 6 hours after the shooting. During the arrest, officers recovered the handgun used in the crime from Birch's bedroom. The Charleston County Solicitor's Office moved swiftly to build their case. Assistant Solicitor Marcus Jenkins was assigned as lead prosecutor, known for his experience with domestic violence cases. After reviewing the evidence, Jenkins initially charged Birch with manslaughter rather than first-degree murder, a decision that would become controversial. The manslaughter charge reflects the heat of passion nature of this crime, Jenkins explained at a press conference on July 31st. While the defendant clearly intended to harm Ms. Simmons, the evidence suggests this was not a premeditated act planned well in advance, but rather an explosive reaction to seeing her ex-partner's engagement. Birch made her first court appearance on July 30th, 2023, before Judge Elaine Weston. The courtroom was packed with Maya's family members wearing green, her favorite color. Birch appeared in a standard-issue jumpsuit, showing little emotion as the charges were read. Your Honor, given the violent nature of this crime and the defendant's actions following the shooting, we request denial of bail, Jenkins argued. Ms. Birch poses a significant flight risk and potential danger to the community. Defense attorney Richard Harmon countered, my client has no prior criminal record, has strong ties to the community, and poses no flight risk. She has a valid concealed carry permit and legally owned the firearm in question. Judge Weston ultimately set bail at $250,000 with strict conditions: house arrest with electronic monitoring, surrender of all firearms, no contact with Maya's family or Tyrone Jones, and no use of social media platforms. Birch posted bail through a bondsman the following day and returned to her residence under electronic monitoring. For Maya's family, watching Birch walk out of jail was excruciating. She gets to go home while my daughter is in the morgue, Angela Simmons, Maya's mother, told reporters outside the courthouse. Where is the justice in that?
Birch was about to leave in her car when Simmons charged at her. That's when Birch shot and killed Simmons. Birch is charged with manslaughter and possession of a deadly weapon during the commission of a violent crime, and today a judge gave her a surety bond. After the hearing, I talked with Jennifer Ferguson, Simmons' grandmother, who says Birch's story can't be true.
Maya Jennifer couldn't kill you with her hands. She didn't have a gun. It's not self-defense. It's not stand your ground. We don't have that law. We don't even have that law here in South Carolina. That's in Florida. We're not in Florida. You made a bad decision, and it's going to cost you some bad consequences. My granddaughter was not an aggressive person. Whatever happened that night, my granddaughter was baited or aggravated to that point. You can't get a person on anywhere that will tell you Maya Jennifer Simmons was an aggressor person.
Birch was placed under house arrest. According to Birch's attorney, she has a concealed carry permit, and she knew Simmons' fiance, who was also at the club that night, had a gun. Birch used to date Simmons' fiance. Now, the judge says Birch is not allowed to use social media or contact anyone in Simmons' family.
As the family planned Maya's funeral, the prosecution team continued building their case. They subpoenaed Maya and Birch's social media records, seeking to establish the timeline of how Birch discovered the engagement celebration and her subsequent actions. The preliminary hearing on September 15, 2023, provided the first detailed look at the prosecution's evidence. Detective Wilson testified about the crime scene investigation, presenting the recovered shell casings and ballistics report confirming they matched Birch's weapon. The defendant fired 5 shots at close range, Wilson testified. 3 struck the victim in the chest area. The pattern of fire indicates deliberate aim rather than random shooting. The prosecution called 4 eyewitnesses who had been present in the parking lot. Their testimonies painted a consistent picture. Birch had initiated the confrontation, returned to her vehicle to retrieve the gun after the initial verbal exchange, and then approached Maya again with clear intent. Tyrone Jones provided emotional testimony about witnessing his fiancée's murder just hours after proposing to her. "I tried to step between them when I saw the gun," he testified, his voice breaking. "But everything happened so fast. Before I could reach Kaisha, she had already fired." Digital forensics expert Lisa Chun presented evidence from Birch's phone showing she had viewed Maya's social media posts multiple times in the hours before the shooting. The defendant's search history shows repeated views of the victim's profiles between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m., Chun testified. At 1:17 a.m., she searched for directions to the Bloom Room restaurant. Defense attorney Harmon focused his cross-examinations on Birch's state of mind, suggesting she had been provoked by seeing her recent ex-partner engaged to another woman. "Would you agree that Ms. Birch appeared emotionally distraught during the confrontation?" he asked several witnesses, attempting to build groundwork for a diminished capacity defense. Judge Raymond Parker ruled there was sufficient evidence to proceed to trial, setting a trial date for February 2024. However, in December, the defense filed multiple motions requesting additional time to prepare psychiatric evaluations for Birch and suppression of certain evidence. These motions pushed the trial date to May 2024. In January 2024, a significant development occurred when the prosecution amended the charges from manslaughter to second-degree murder. This upgrade came after reviewing additional evidence, including text messages Birch had sent to a friend the week before the shooting expressing anger about rumors that Tyrone was seeing someone new. These messages demonstrate a pattern of jealousy and possessiveness that preceded the night of the shooting, Jenkins argued in the filing. While not proving long-term premeditation, they show the defendant's ongoing fixation with the victim's fiancé and undermine the defense's claim of sudden passion. The upgraded charges carried a potential sentence of 30 years to life imprisonment rather than the maximum 30 years for manslaughter. Birch's defense team immediately filed objections, arguing that the prosecution was overreaching based on circumstantial evidence. Throughout these legal proceedings, Maya's family attended every hearing, supported by community members and victim advocates. Jennifer Ferguson often brought some of Maya's older children, feeling it important they witness the justice system's response to their mother's killing. "We want them to see that actions have consequences," Jennifer explained, "that their mother's life mattered to the community and to the law." As the May 2024 trial date approaches, both prosecution and defense teams continue preparation. The prosecution has listed 27 potential witnesses, including forensic experts, eyewitnesses, and family members who can speak to the impact of Maya's death. The defense has requested additional psychiatric evaluations, suggesting they may pursue a temporary insanity or diminished capacity defense. For Maya's 8 children, the legal proceedings represent both hope for justice and a painful reminder of their loss. The younger ones are gradually adjusting to life without their mother, cared for by a network of family members determined to honor Maya's memory by raising her children with the same love and values she embodied. "No verdict will bring Maya back," Jennifer Ferguson told supporters after a recent hearing. "But we pray for justice that acknowledges the precious life that was taken and the 8 children left without their mother." The murder of Maya Jennifer Simmons represents more than just an isolated tragedy. It highlights several critical issues that, if addressed, might prevent similar violence in the future. By examining the circumstances that led to Maya's death, we can identify key warning signs and intervention points that could save lives. The most glaring element in this case was the dangerous escalation of jealousy into deadly violence. Experts in domestic violence and criminal psychology point to several warning signs that were present in Kaisha Birch's behavior. While hindsight offers clarity that may not have been obvious beforehand, understanding these patterns can help others recognize potential danger. Possessive behavior toward ex-partners often precedes violence, explains Dr. Vanessa Rodriguez, a psychologist specializing in relationship violence. When someone cannot accept the end of a relationship and becomes fixated on their former partner's new relationships, that's a significant red flag. In Birch's case, her continued monitoring of Tyrone Jones' social activities after their breakup represented an inability to establish healthy boundaries. This surveillance behavior, checking social media profiles, tracking locations, and gathering information about new partners, often indicates an unhealthy attachment that can escalate when triggered by significant events like engagements or marriages. The presence of a firearm dramatically increased the lethality of this confrontation. Birch, who legally owned and carried a handgun, made a split-second decision that permanently altered countless lives. Research consistently shows that access to firearms significantly increases the risk of fatal outcomes in domestic disputes and confrontations driven by jealousy. When emotions run high, having a deadly weapon immediately available can transform a heated argument into a homicide in seconds, notes firearms safety advocate Marcus Thompson. This case demonstrates why cooling-off periods and restrictions for individuals involved in volatile relationships are so important. Community-based violence prevention strategies could play a crucial role in preventing similar tragedies. These approaches focus on early intervention when warning signs appear. Programs that train community members, friends, and family to recognize concerning behaviors and provide resources for de-escalation have shown promise in reducing violence. We need to create cultures where bystanders feel empowered to intervene safely when they see concerning behavior, explains community organizer Denise Washington. If friends or family members had recognized Birch's fixation as potentially dangerous, they might have been able to connect her with resources or alert others to the potential risk. The role of social media in this tragedy cannot be overlooked. While platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat allow people to share life's joyful moments, they can also inadvertently provide information that triggers those harboring resentment or obsession. Social media creates unprecedented visibility into people's lives, notes digital safety expert James Chun. In cases involving jealousy or obsession, real-time updates about celebrations, relationships, or locations can unintentionally provide information that fuels dangerous fixations and even helps plan confrontations. This doesn't mean people should avoid sharing life's milestones online, but understanding these dynamics can help individuals make informed choices about privacy settings, location tagging, and the timing of posts, especially when there are known conflicts or concerning relationships in their lives. Conflict resolution skills represent another critical area for prevention. Many communities have begun implementing education programs that teach healthy ways to manage jealousy, process rejection, and handle relationship transitions. These programs, often starting in schools and continuing through community centers, provide practical tools for managing powerful emotions without resorting to violence. We need to normalize the idea that seeking help during emotional crises is a sign of strength, not weakness, says Counselor Robert Jackson. Many people, particularly young adults, never learn healthy coping mechanisms for dealing with rejection or relationship loss. For families affected by sudden, violent loss, like the Simmons family, comprehensive support systems are essential. The trauma of losing a loved one to violence creates ripple effects that can last generations if not addressed. Communities that provide immediate crisis support, ongoing counseling, financial assistance, and practical help for children left behind can help break cycles of trauma. When 8 children lose their mother to violence, the impact extends far beyond the immediate grief, explains trauma specialist Dr. Amara Wilson. Without proper support, these children face increased risks of depression, post-traumatic stress, and even future involvement in violent relationships. Comprehensive support isn't just compassionate, it's preventative. Maya Simmons' story serves as a powerful reminder that violence prevention requires a multifaceted approach, addressing warning signs, limiting access to weapons during emotional crises, teaching conflict resolution skills, understanding the role of social media, and supporting those affected by violence. By learning from this tragedy, communities can work toward creating environments where celebrations like birthdays and engagements remain joyful occasions, unmarred by the shadow of violence. Maya Jennifer Simmons' life, though cut tragically short at age 30, continues to resonate through the lives she touched and the family she left behind. In North Charleston, her memory endures not just as a victim of violence, but as a mother whose love and teachings continue to guide her 8 children. In the Ferguson Simmons household, Maya's presence remains palpable. Photos of her smiling face adorn the walls, and her favorite color, green, appears throughout the home in subtle tributes. Her grandmother, Jennifer, has become the family historian, collecting and preserving Maya's belongings, writings, and photographs to ensure her grandchildren never forget their mother's spirit. "We talk about her every day," Jennifer explains. "The little ones ask questions, and we answer with stories about their mom, how she loved to dance in the kitchen while cooking, how she could make anyone laugh, how fiercely she loved them. Maya's older children have found their own ways to honor their mother's memory. Her 14-year-old daughter has taken up singing, one of Maya's favorite pastimes, and often performs at church services. Her 12-year-old son wears green on the 28th of each month, marking the day his mother was taken from them, while creating a ritual of remembrance rather than just grief. The family has established a small foundation in Maya's name, focused on supporting children who have lost parents to violence. Through community fundraisers and church support, they've been able to provide counseling services, school supplies, and holiday gifts to other families experiencing similar trauma. Maya always said that helping others was the best way to heal yourself, Jennifer recalls. We're trying to live that message every day. As the family awaits the trial scheduled for May 2024, they remain united in their pursuit of justice while focusing on healing. Court appearances are difficult, but they attend together, drawing strength from one another and from their faith, the same faith that sustained Maya throughout her life. Justice won't bring her back, says Angela Simmons, Maya's mother. But it matters that the world recognizes what was taken from us, from her children, that night. This story reminds us how precious life is. If this video impacted you, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to support more stories that matter. At Crime Scene Exposed, we believe these stories deserve to be told with compassion and purpose. Perhaps the most fitting tribute to Maya Jennifer Simmons comes from her own prophetic words, shared on social media just hours before her death. Time is short. I think we all should take a lot more pictures and stuff and memories because you just never know. In sharing Maya's story, we honor her memory and heed her final wisdom, to cherish each moment, to capture memories while we can, and to recognize the fragility and preciousness of the lives we share with those we love.